frog bounced around, stopping in front of them to croak. That's pretty hilarious, Twilight. Won't be bothering us anymore, will he? Well, Twilight knocks Snail's frog away with her hooves, and when he tries to jump over her, I really shouldn't leave him like this. I think he'd be happier spending his last hours as a unicorn. As funny as this is, Twilight looked back down at the black book, flipping through pages. Let's see. Her eyes opened wide as she growled, stomping on the book. This can't be right. Spike pops up from behind, looking at her shoulder. What's wrong? Looking over her shoulder. What's wrong? You can reverse it, can't you? It says it can only be reversed. The only way to reverse is to turn into a frog. Turn into a frog spell is to have a young maiden. Spike's eyes watered up as he falls back, bawling out, "Oh my sides." Kiss the frog on the lips. Twilight glared down at Snails, who gave an enthusiastic, little croak. Then she looked back, narrowing her eyes. Now, if we can only get a young fair maiden just to help poor Snails out, Spike continued, continued his fit of laughter. Okay, fine, I can do this. I turn Snails into this, and I can break him out of it. She sat back on her haunches and picked up the frog with her hoofs, looking up at him. I mean, kissing a frog wouldn't hurt, right? Could it? Go on, Twilight. Turn him into your Prince Charming. Spike fell over laughing. Twilight perked her lips and slowly brought the frog up to them, closing her eyes as the snail croaked. A big smile across the little frog's face as their lips met. A smooching sound. I don't know how to pronounce words. Something from Twilight's mouth. The frog glowed again, and jerking in Twilight's hooves, she tossed him away and turned her head, gagging, sticking her tongue out. Blech, blech. Snail's froggy form bugged out, stretching every way until he flopped out about and poofed back into his own old unicorn self. Flopping into the ground, his eyes rolled like a daydream, grinning to himself. Oh, Twilight, I didn't know you cared. Twilight ran her hoof over her tongue, coughing. Yeah, well, don't get any funny ideas. I think we've had a fair share of black magic for this evening. We should head back to the library. She got up, rolling her eyes at Spike. He was still giggling, wimping some tears out of his eyes. You're gonna make me die laughing before the end of tonight. Spike shook his head and stood up. Well, we should be on our way. Come, Spike. Twilight clenched as Snail suddenly hugged her hindquarters. Oh, wow. Just like my immortal. Hey, Twilight, I remember when I was following you guys out here. Snail's eyes were still staring into the air and dazed. Twilight bucked off, snorting. Really, Snails, you shouldn't grab a mare like that. Oh, sorry, Twilight. He crawled up next to her. But you see, I've always kind of had a crush on you, so I was thinking, don't make me turn you back into a frog again. Come on, Twilight glared at him. Come on, Spike, it's time to go. Spike chuckled. Maybe you should hear him out, Twilight. there's nothing to talk about. She picked up her spell book and started trotting off. Snails followed beside her. Wait, can't you please wait? He nudged his head against her side. Sorry about all the coughing. She grunted and stepped aside from him, turning the page at him again. All right, where is it? Snails stopped and blushed. Well, I was wondering, since we're all going to die tonight, I've never got to find true happiness. I've never got to love, he sighed. So I was thinking that maybe because this is our last chance, should we get married? He gave her a big grin and lowered his horn, revealing a ring placed there. Really, Snails? You've got to be kidding me. She turned and began trotting off, and again, Spike coming up behind her and jumping on her back, giggling. Wait a sec, Twilight. You should take a look at this. Spike nudged her. Now, what is it, Spike? We've wasted enough time already. She turned around to see Snails where she left him, his head hanging down, tears in his eye. Maybe you should, Twilight. No joke. I mean, we're all gonna be dead tomorrow anyways, alright? Till death do us part. Wouldn't it be nice to fulfill his last request before the end? Twilight rolled her eyes. Ugh. He's way too young for me and way too dumb. He can't find some other magical unicorn to bug. It's strange. It's starting to get pretty late. I think you're all he has left. Wouldn't it be good granting his last wish? What harm would it do? Twilight brought hoof up to her muzzle, watching him sighing. Well, he does look awfully pathetic, Spike grinned at her. Spike continued to stare for about a minute or more. Snails hadn't moved from his place, and his head still hanging. It didn't look like he noticed it didn't look like he had noticed her watching him. I guess you're right. If there's one last thing I should do before I go is make him happy, I suppose. She dropped her head, walking back over to him. He's lucky I'm feeling sympathetic right now. Spike clapped. That's the spirit. Hey, Snails. Snails looked up from where he has been sobbing, tears in his eyes, rolling his lower lip, quivering to Twilight. So I was thinking, since I just changed you into a frog, I suppose I could marry you to make it up for it. So it wouldn't be our last few hours. So it would be our last few hours together, anyways. She rolled her eyes. Oh, Twilight! Snails jumped up and gave her a hug. You may be the happiest unicorn in Equestria. Probably not far from the truth. Spike crossed his arms. Yeah, but how are we supposed to get married at this time of night? The sun has nearly disappeared below the horizon. I gotta meet up with my friends soon. Spike said Mayor Pony can perform the ceremony. I'm sure she'd be up to the task. Are you really going to make me go through this, Spike? The three of them headed back into Ponyville, their faces growing long, when they discovered it's been wrecked by the earthquake.
Wrecked.
Discovered when it's been wrecked by the earthquake. Remember, I'm a harbor reader.
Yes, you are.
You should shut up. What? Okay. Twilight fidgeted. Well, I guess the spell had a further reach than I intendedly thought. Never mind that. We've got to hurry and go get this done for our farewell party. Spike pointed to the courthouse. This is truly a magical night, Snail smiled. to be lost in thought. The three of them trotted up to the courthouse. Twilight tried to knock on the door, only to fall in. What? No.
Shut up.
Just that makes me think of that scene. They walked inside and found the place to be dark and empty. Twilight conjured up a lightning spell and turned on the lights. Where is she? Spike jumped off of Twilight's back, ran into the back of the meeting hall, knocking over the door back there. Hello, Mayor Pony. We need someone to help us here. We need help with something here. Twilight looked over at Snails, noticing he was trying to bite her tail. She flickered it away from him and rolling her eyes